And we are live. Yes, 2 videos this week. Once again, do not get used to this. Thoughts on Season 8, 2.5 Men show. And this is one of the cases where there is some noteworthy information on Wikipedia. Before I get into that, there are spoilers. Let's see. As you can, yeah, it's up there. There are spoilers for this season and the seasons before it. It's a long video, but there are time codes because I remembered to start the timer. Let's see what else we got. I'm going to try not to restate anything. In the future, I'm going to try to remember to put these lines in the text notes I have so I don't have to do them by memory. And the playlist for the other season thoughts is going to be in the description box, and I have nothing to write down yet. Now, Wikipedia. The 8th season of 2.5 Men premiered. That doesn't matter. There were only 16 episodes aired, making season 8 the shortest season to date and the last season of the show, with its main star Charlie Sheen. And yes. Now, characters, we see more of Alan with Lindsay and them basically splitting up. I don't know if she's in more of the show after this. Now, I'm not going to read all of this, but some of it is worth getting into. Many reports of Sheen partying in Vegas, drinking heavily, and associating with porn stars have been over the internet from the beginning of January 2011. CBS had expressed its concern. Early in the morning of January 27th, Sheen was rushed to hospital, suffering from severe abdominal pains after owning a party at his house, in which he allegedly smoked crack cocaine. After being released from the hospital, Sheen checked himself into rehab. The show was previously put on hiatus, and it was announced that the show would shut down production for the rest of the season due to Sheen making offensive comments about the creator and lead writer of 2.5 Men, Chuck Lorre, on a radio broadcast hosted by Alex Jones. See, even if he hadn't said anything offensive, why would you go on a show with Alex Jones? That right there, you know, if that doesn't get you fired, I don't know what. Yeah, but anyway, you know, yeah, obviously you can't have an employee who says really awful things about you, and how are you going to have a good working relationship after he's said things like that, you know, from the perspective of both people. Yeah. She was fired from the show, which led to the cancellation of the remaining 8 episodes. And I was wondering if you could tell if it was obvious that there should have been more episodes, if the finale was not the originally planned finale for the season. And yeah, I would say it's pretty obvious. I'm gonna get a little bit more into that in the, yeah, you know, when I get to that episode in the listing. So if that's what you want to hear, skip ahead to that part. Now, after much speculation, Sheen returned to the series, and Lorre announced that he had new plans to reboot 2.5 Men with John Cryer in a lead role alongside a new character. Ashton Kutcher was later hired to portray the new character Walden Schmidt, who I haven't seen any of those episodes yet, but I'm going to watch the first of those episodes either tonight or tomorrow, and yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic. Now, critical reception on Season 8 was mostly negative. On the aggregated Tomatoes, the season has an approval rating of 43%. I really don't, I mean, you can tell that it was cut down, that there were supposed to be more episodes, but I really don't think it's a bad season. And with that, we get to the first episode. Now, briefly, let's see, there was something, yeah, now for sure, I've watched every single Charlie Sheen episode. I think I might have watched all of them before, and again, I didn't, I forget if maybe the network showing them here took a break from the show, or if let's see, was it that... Or you know, at some point, some years ago, I stopped watching TV. There's no reason for me to pay for a package when I watch almost no TV. You know, I get my news on the internet, and I don't watch that. And I never watch very many shows on TV. It's been a lot of years since I watched a lot of shows. But I do think, I seem to remember the season finale of this season. I think I've watched it before, but I'm not 100% certain. Now, that brings us to the first episode. Three girls and a guy named Bud. Yeah, sorry, I don't remember exactly how it's said in the episode. Now, Alan has been having a relationship with Lindsay, the mom of Jake's best friend Eldridge. When Jake finds out, he stops visiting on weekends and moves in with Judith and her permanently until Alan apologizes to Jake there. Jake gets caught sneaking two girls out of his room. Charlie just decides to quit boozing, although all he really does is switch to beer and wine after a drunken attempt to mail his pants back to the fabric inspector. The title quotation is Charlie explaining orgies to Alan after the two witness girls sneaking out of Jake's room. Excuse me. And Alan tries to turn off his alarm without his left hand. You know, it's not quite a Coyote Ugly kind of situation, but he doesn't want to wake her. I can't believe you have an alarm watch. Timex. Well, a really nice knockoff. You can't even afford Timex, or won't spend, quote-unquote, that much. I guess a morning quickie is out of the question. If you can do it without waking me up. You're not really thinking about it, are you? How much did you have to drink last night? And then I'm not going to act it out. You know, Charlie slowly counts. I think he counted to 21 on his fingers. And I don't know. Charlie used the food disposal after throwing up. And a girl runs out of Jake's room to the deck. Yours? She's like 16. Again, I ask, hoping I won't be to testify. Yours? And another girl runs out of Jake's room. I mean, Jake can't be older than 17 at this point in the show, so yeah. Maybe he can give you some tips. Technically, an orgy requires a minimum of 6 people. And then he goes on to explain why you need a minimum of 6 people. That's, yeah. What do you want to do? Give him a merit badge? It's quite an accomplishment. I'm not laughing. The kid's doing better than I am. I woke up on the stairs. And Charlie tried to mail his pants somewhere. Hungry? Thirsty? Proud? This does not call for a high five. You're right, this is hugging time. Why didn't you ask permission before having your friends stay over? You weren't around. Where were you, by the way? Whoops. And Charlie finds out why he tried to mail his pants. Well, that explains the blood in my shorts. I hope. Wow. I have a big surprise for you. I have what I'm told is a perfectly adequate surprise for you. Man, we go through a lot of whipped cream in this house. Did you know Rottweilers are attracted to the scent of whipped cream, Charlie? As a matter of fact, I did know that. Non-fat dairy-scented crotch. And Charlie just keeps thinking that the dog and then the girl walking the dog was in Lindsay's bedroom. Not that I'm judging, but why was a 9-year-old walking her dog for Lindsay's bedroom? For such a boring guy, you lead a very complicated life. And Alan just keeps talking in pig Latin. Attaboy. Trying to take the high road with a crotch full of whipped cream and dog spittle. Is that supposed to make me feel better? No, the story's about me. God, you're such a narcissist. Herb wants a beer and high-fives Alan for sleeping with Lindsay McElroy. You don't sleep with your friend's mother. No, you marry your son's pediatrician. He's got you there, sweetie. There's a rumor going around Lindsay was in a porn movie before she got married. I've been checking Cinemax every night for months. Classy, right? Little story, nice lighting, and you never have to see the guy's junk. See, Alan, I'm Teflon. You're a pervert, is what you are. Judith, is there any surfing around here? What are you talking about? We're 23 miles from the ocean. So Jake was lying. He did have sex with those girls, and he just claimed it was about surfing. Tiffany and Joanne surf? Yes, Eldridge, they surf. And the porn Lindsay's in came on, and Charlie's just gonna sit there and watch it with her like 10 meters away. Boy, she sure does like whipped cream. I was wondering if they were gonna have her realize that the porn was on, maybe smash cut to the end credits for her reaction. But yeah, everyone, 2 teenagers and 3 adults in the room, is or has very recently been lying about sex to someone else in the room. And we have another tense family dinner situation. And another great season opener, 8 for 8. And bottle of wine and a jackhammer. Lindsay tells Alan that she loves him and asks him to move in with her. First, Alan declines, but after learning that it would upset Judith, he decides to go ahead with the idea. Charlie bribes Eldridge and Jake with money so that they agree to the circumstances. Later on, Alan encounters Melissa at a wine shop, lies by saying he is single, and then takes her back to Charlie's house to have sex with her. And the title quotation, is from Charlie repeating what Alan told him is needed to get Lindsay stimulated sexually. Sorry, I don't have to have an orgasm every time we make love. It's just that my sinuses are blocked and I need my mouth for breathing. And she tells him she loves him, and he does a spit take. Did it go down the wrong way? Yes, that seems to be the theme of the evening. And, Alan tells Lindsay that he loves her, and then she's like, why? What do you love about me? And he names one thing after another that he loves about her, and she just keeps wanting more, and so he goes, persistent. I think you should move in, and another spit take. She makes him list a lot of reasons why he loves her, but she can't say anything about why she loves him, even though she said it first. Is that why I got an incomplete? Because you were distracted? No. Still, big smile on her face. I feel like they did a really good job of using. And I don't remember actually. Give me a second. I think her name. Never mind. The actress, really well, because she does have. There we go. She has a really great smile, and she can sell this kind of, maybe not quite domestic, but like she seems fairly well content with her life, and she doesn't come off as someone that Charlie would have a relationship with. She doesn't have daddy issues, but she can also sell the sexual aspects, and yeah, just it's a good casting choice, and they play to her strengths from what I've seen of her in other shows. Yeah, she, like, if they had cast her as like Candy, that wouldn't have worked, I don't think. And now Alan only takes a tiny sip of water, afraid of the spit take. Let me just wet the old whistle. My mouth. I'm talking about my mouth. And Charlie wants to sell the gold in Alan's teeth. I told you about that in confidence. Who else is here? The same two people know. This is my home. I'm comfortable here. This is my home, and before you moved into it, I was comfortable here. And Charlie's still watching stupid TV and ordering crap off it. Okay, when you say bird, what exactly is it you're referring to? He's got this thing about penises. He thinks they're big worms. Or LA Lakers. Good night. And Larry keeps repeating what he heard his owner yell in bed. Spank me, I'm a bad girl. Too big, too big. That's it, baby. Keep going. Not a worm, not a worm. Ah! Of course, Charlie made sure that Alan would be uncomfortable around Larry to get him to move in with Lindsay. That thing tried to recircumcise me. Maybe that's why they call it a cockatoo. And Berta chips in. Yeah, about how to get a guy to leave your house. Tell him you missed your period and you're out of pot. And to make Alan uncomfortable, Charlie uses his toilet while Alan's in the shower. And it's still not enough, so he got into the shower with Alan. Wow. That's, yeah. The show has just in general gradually gotten increasingly crude, and yeah, this season there's more like later in the season, I'll get to it when there's more like physical bodily function humor where they've made jokes before about some of these things, but now we actually see more of these things. And yeah, it's by and large, I've felt that it didn't go past, the show's to my taste largely, but I do think a little of the, especially the, what was it, the dumb ass, their jackass take thing, I felt like that was maybe a little, but then there wasn't that much of it. I can say now that I've watched the entire season. I guess it's possible that there was more in the 8 episodes that didn't get made. Yeah. Next time you drop the soap in the shower, I'm going to forget you're my brother. I'm not going to have my ex-husband living down the street from me. Are you saying it would make you uncomfortable? Uncomfortable? It would drive me crazy. Jake, get a move on! And immediately, that now Alan is completely sold on it. And Jake sees through them serving delicious stuff. Eldridge isn't used to it, so he doesn't. And really, in some ways, Eldridge is actually stupider than Jake. It took a while, but he managed to find the one kid stupider than. And Charlie, in an earlier season, said maybe there should be one child left behind. We thought it was going to be Jake. Apparently, Eldridge is even, And Eldridge and Jake are obsessed with whether or not their parents would get pregnant with each other. And Jake actually believes that Lindsay might move into Charlie's place, or that Jake might get to stay at his Uncle Charlie's if his father doesn't live there. And huge argument between Jake and Eldridge. Neither one wants to live with the other. I like my privacy. We all know what that's about. Hey, you're Mr. Whack-a-Mole. And yeah, there's like Alan softly tries to argue Jake can't call him loser, and don't call my dad a loser. You call him a loser all the time. I'm allowed to. He's my dad. And of course, Jake came back for a cupcake. That's the trouble with kids these days, not enough trauma. Oh, it's going to happen. As God is my witness, in the name of all that is holy, it's going to happen. Amen. Keep packing. And Alan picks up the box that says porn enveloped on. He couldn't spell miscellaneous. What's this about you two not wanting to live together? It was a rhetorical question. I would give a rat's ass. And Charlie's going to pay them to leave. $100 a month? That's like $1,000 a year. Almost. And they don't know how to split $500 between two people. No matter how I split it up, there's still going to be one left. They also, I really appreciate the casting of Eldridge. I haven't seen him in anything else that, I don't think. I didn't look it up, but he really, he sells the stupidity. You buy that this guy might actually be stupider than Jake. And Charlie's playing Hit the Road Jack. How very unhappily ever after. I know, I heard you. I just never get tired of hearing it. And Alan keeps almost causing a flashback for Charlie. They even do the wavy line transition effect, but not a random rap inside, basically. Basically, we keep thinking that now the status quo will be dramatically changed. Alan will actually move out, and so will Jake. But the end of the episode hints that there will be problems, and, you know, the end of the episode after next resets the status quo. But, yeah, you know, you expect there to be, you know, whether it's a sitcom or some other kind of, ongoing show, you expect there to be some kind of flashback in, yeah, maybe not just any kind of show, but yeah. And my past is divided between things I can't remember and things I don't want to remember, and you're both. And when Alan finally leaves, Charlie immediately slams the door in his face and locks it. You're right. I should change the locks. That's why you're the Lord. And Alan pretends to Melissa that he's not seeing anyone. Excuse me. Charlie really is already changing locks. It's been hours at most. You must have really needed this badly to call me at this time. You're doing the Lord's work. Not going to keep Rose out, though, because he didn't change Locksmith. But don't worry, I'm still moving in fluency. This will just be my pied-à-terre. That's French for love shack. Okay, that's it. Let me speak to your supervisor. And the episode does not end with Alan moving out of Lindsay's place, but there's clearly trouble in the relationship between the two if he's willing to get back with Melissa and not even break up with Lindsay to do it. I'm really glad that they brought her back and that they waited to do so until Alan was in a committed relationship with someone else. Another new romantic relationship situation or status for one of the brothers. And yeah, this video is definitely going to end up short, but so is the season. Let's see. Pudding-Filled Cactus. Excuse me. After sleeping with Melissa, Alan finds it hard to let go. He carries on seeing her at Charlie's house and acting as if he still lives there. Eventually he takes advice from Charlie and Evelyn and ends it with Melissa by text message, causing her to take her anger out on Charlie. Upon his return to Lindsay's, Alan accidentally sets fire to her curtains, causing a mass fire and leaving them homeless. The child quotation is from Alan lying to Lindsay and describing how Charlie is prickly on the outside but a sweetheart on the inside. Alan keeps almost blowing to Melissa that he isn't living at Charlie's anymore. And Charlie refuses to let Alan move back in. And Charlie slams the door onto Alan's bowed head. And Alan claims that Charlie wouldn't let him leave. Charlie may be prickly and crusty on the outside, but inside he's all soft and gooey. Kind of like a pudding-filled cactus. Alan isn't ready for more sex, but Lindsay wants him. From now on, no brother, no nephew, just the sounds of the ocean punctuated by the soft voices of prostitutes lying about the enormity of my sexual organ. Don't move, don't breathe. As if Alan would somehow think that they were dead if they didn't move. Last time I was with Melissa, I had to fake an orgasm with Lindsay. And then Alan acts out faking the orgasm. Stop, please, I'm begging you. I know a guy. 10 grand. You'll never have to see Sippy again. 10 grand? Actually, he changed 500, but there's a finder's fee. And Alan acts like he's in the 50s because of the pipe imitating Bing Crosby. Bing Crosby, the black guy with the sweater, used to have a TV show. That's Will Smith, dumbass. And Charlie couldn't see Melissa through the door window because she's so short. I do really appreciate the jokes about her being short. That's, yeah. And again, I'm allowed to say so because I'm short myself. And, you know, Alan just keeps imitating Bing Crosby, and Liz is like, seriously, Alan, that's not funny anymore. And don't call me mother. Yeah, Alan, you're not Mike Pence. Even Mike Pence shouldn't be Mike Pence. And we're all going to die, Charlie. No, don't send her over here. And Alan stages an argument with Lindsay and called her mother again, just so he can go be with Melissa. I hope he didn't get into an accident. No, I'm not that lucky. That's a terrible thing to say. I'm just stating a fact. And Melissa's like, we were worried. She's using the royal we. And Charlie forces Alan to lie about what happened at the office. You know, Alan hopes that something happened at the office. What happened? I lost a patient. He died? No, not lost like died, just misplaced. How does a chiropractor misplace a patient? Good question. I thought so. And Alan doesn't realize that his lie leaves it at that he didn't find the patient. Did you call the police? Yes. What did they say? It could work. Are you insane? What's your strategy? Explain it to me, Lucy. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not going to imitate that accent. This you find distasteful? The man who's asked to leave Bangkok for moral turpitude finds this distasteful? That was a misunderstanding. I had no idea that was an endangered species. He had sex with some foreign animal and it died. Wow. Mom, thank God you're here. Your sarcasm is unappreciated, Charlie. He moved out after 7 years of putting up with him, and he finally moved. I need him to stay out. So Jake is gone too, and no one thought to call me. Okay, as usual, you're just useless. Like a goldfish in a leaky bag. And, you know, Charlie tells Alan, you know, you should treat Lindsay well. And, you know, Charlie, I can't. Okay, fine, sure, you're like garbage, and she hangs herself. Just go! And, you know, Alan breaking up with Melissa. In a text? I'm putting a little frowny face at the end. Don't get on me about that. My episiotomy still itches. I hate you, you stupid cork soaker. And, you know, Evelyn asks, so who's going to move in instead of Alan? Why do you ask? I was just thinking it might be nice to spend a weekend here on the beach. Darling, you should see your face. And the, you know, Alan's got the chiropractor of the year, you know, plaque, and Lindsay's like, wow, not this year, 2002. After that, they tightened up the voting rules. And, Alan starts to confess to Lindsay, I ran into an old ex. You had sex. No, I did not have sex with her. Then why do you feel guilty? After I ran into her, I found myself fantasizing about her. That's it. And nothing crazy, just straight missionary. And Alan put the lit pipe next to the drapes, and immediately we could tell that's going to start a fire. I'm going to give you one last chance. Where is he? I don't know. And she kneed him in the nuts. Badass. And Charlie's like, I'm not gonna rat out my brother. And I think, is it Evelyn maybe who asks, what are you gonna do to Alan when you find him? What I did to Charlie, but worse. And immediately Charlie gives the full address and says who else lives there. And yeah, I think this is the first time Melissa has used physical force against someone else. So good job on escalation, because we have seen before she has a temper, especially when it comes to sexual relationships with the Harpers and her getting screwed, and not in the good way. And now Alan wants a man cave. He's really taking advantage of Lindsay being giving. I'm pretty sure she punched my right nut up into my rib cage. You want Mommy to take a look? I have seen them before. I imagine they're hanging a lot lower now. Right back at you, Mom. Touché, darling. See, they do appreciate when their hated family members really deliver sick burns. I quite like that. Alan, Lindsay, Jake, and Eldridge are all covered in soot and show up at Charlie's door. You will never guess what happened. Really loving this episode continuity. Just can't wait to see what happens next. And this is where I made an incorrect guess. Melissa must have gotten to the house, right after they after they left because of the fire. But why wouldn't she just come right back to Charlie's, perhaps thinking that Charlie lied to her about where to go, and thus she would give away that she had sex with Alan. I guess maybe she was gonna show up in one of the 8 episodes that they ended up not filming. That could have been interesting, certainly. And it's possible that there was more about Lindsay and her possibly being with Alan. Eldridge is still friends with Jake after they, they're in the finale, I want to say. Or is it an episode or 2 before? After the I don't know if it's technically quite a breakup or if it's just that they're taking time apart, or I don't know what exactly, but so it's not that neither Alan nor Lindsay said to their son that they couldn't be with the other son. So let's see. Hookers. Excuse me. After moving into Charlie's house, Lindsay, Alan, Jake, and Eldridge face that they have lost everything with the house fire. Charlie makes fun of them, but forgets his cell phone in the ruin. Going there to get it, he meets Lindsay's ex-husband, Chris, Judd Nelson. Later, they are joined by Herb, Pizza Boy Gordon, and Alan. Lindsay comes to get Alan, but ends up going for coffee with Chris. Gordon has to get back to work. Herb has to leave after Judith's call. Charlie returns to his home with a deaf hooker, and Charlie's left alone in the roofless ruin. And the title quotation is from Charlie checking his phone book for a silent hooker. Excuse me. Melissa wasn't in the previously on at all, and then after watching the episode, I added or in the episode itself. And I excuse me, I had guessed that she was going after Alan in a later episode then, but yeah, maybe she was in one of the 8 episodes that they didn't film because Charlie Sheen was in rehab, or did they just drop her character entirely? It's possible that she'll show up in one of the next seasons. After 7 years, I finally moved out of your house, and within 2 days, I burned my house down. You can't write this stuff. I could if I used your skin for paper and your blood for ink. And, Alan asked Lindsay, do you need any help? No, but if I need my house burned down again, I'll let you know. You've ruined my entire life. Do you know that? You're right. I like her. We got a lot in common. Let's see. His father's a jerk, and you burned down my freaking house. Our house. Dear God, stop talking. Even after burning it down, he's reiterating that it's his house too, and she shouldn't treat him like a house guest. Wow. And Berta realizing Lindsay moved in. What do you do? Burn down your house? It was an accident. And they're in the charred remains of Lindsay's house, and Charlie's like, honestly, I can't see why you can't live here. You're kidding, right? There's no roof, so wear a hat. And and Lindsay notes that she lost the candlesticks. She smuggled these out of Denmark when the Nazis invaded. Well, then you were due for buying new ones. Really? Where'd you hide them? Oh, like I was the only one wondering that. Wow. And, the Eldridge is in his room drying weed. Weed? Weed, Nintendo Wii. I better go help him. I could use a little Wii right now. What are you smiling about? You know what I'm smiling about. And then, 30 seconds later, what are you smiling about? You know what I'm smiling about. And Alan is actually happy to find the pipe complete. Wow. And, Charlie's watching TV with Lindsay and Alan. Towering Inferno is on. No. Oh, Stephen King's Firestarter. No. All right. Blazing Saddles. There are 2 teenagers in the house. Let them get their own hookers. Unless you want to have sex with me for $1,000 an hour, I need the phone. You don't think he'd give me $1,000 an hour. If I were you, I'd get the money up front. And on his phone, under the letter H, immediately finds hookers. But he couldn't remember when the letter is in the alphabet without singing the alphabet song. Jeb Nelson. Alan's brother. I don't usually admit it, but yeah. I did a babysitter once. My mom was furious. Wouldn't drive her home and actually refused to pay her. And Chris, Charlie, and now Herb sit and drink in the burnt down house. And they talk about banging babysitters. Always good to have a choice of dips. And I chose you. And Lindsay farted on Alan. I wonder if this is the first time the actress did that, or if that happened at some point on According to Jim. Hey Alan, try not to burn down her house. Gordon the pizza boy. I'm 38 years old, Mr. Harper. I have high blood pressure and alimony payments. And, Judith tells Alan, Lindsay, she made a bad choice. Yeah, well, you made the same choice she did. Ha ha. Chris, I believe my brother, the one who burned down your house and is banging your wife. Charlie points out that, by the transitive pronouns, yeah, Chris and Alan both had sex with her. With all due respect, Charlie, I think I remember that. And by the transitive, Herb has slept with Lindsay. And Alan drunk dials Lindsay. And then Eldridge realizes Lindsay and Eldridge are alone in Charlie's house because everybody else left to get away from them. Hey, this is working out pretty good, huh? I said it wasn't over. I didn't say it was good. I don't think he envies us at all. Good catch, Herb. And, the Lindsay is, seems like she maybe wants to get back with Chris, and Alan's like, excuse me, but weren't you about to forgive me? Having stayed at Charlie's place, even if she farts on you, is looking better and better, isn't it, Alan? Babysitter. Alan, people who burn down houses should not throw babysitters. Would you come back for that kid? She's never coming back. Great resolution. Really, what is one? Well, 3, but it counts as one. Count of babysitter banging when compared to over a decade of raising an obnoxious kid together. On house burning downs, he's 0 for 1. You know who you remind me of? Job. The guy God punishes just for laughs. God punishes Job for faith. Still funny. So yeah, it actually got into dialogue, in one of the commentary tracks, or is it a DVD featurette? Chuck Lorre says that he considers Alan like Job, that, the writers punish him for trying to be a good person, although over the seasons he's becoming increasingly less of a good person, but yeah. Maybe I am like Job, but I'm not gonna lose my faith, and then it starts to rain. Oh crap. And it's like pouring down rain too. Now, let's see. The Immortal Mr. Billy Joel. Excuse me. The episode starts with Alan handing Jake a check for a school trip. Alan becomes depressed after realizing he is broke and lonely, while Charlie heads off to Vegas, although he's really getting cosmetic surgery. Excuse me. I just forgot to breathe. Alan pretends to be him. He manages to bring home a woman, Erin Hayes, he met at the bar. However, she knows that he isn't Charlie. She admits that she and Charlie broke up because he didn't like her role-playing games. Alan ends up going to bed with the woman, but ends up having to dress like Hitler as part of her game. The things we do for Strange. And the title quotation is from Alan naming the artist of the song that he's about to play on the piano. And Alan signs, the check. DC, District of Columbia, Doctor of Chiropractic. If you knew what had happened on that table, you wouldn't put your face on it, and just immediately. I love Charlie reiterating Alan losing everything in the fire. And, Alan's like, do you know how long it would take me to earn that kind of money? Don't think like that. You're never going to earn this kind of money. And, again, Alan's like, seriously, table. I can't stand seeing you like this. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stop watching. I feel better already. Table. Oh, Zippy, I can't stand seeing you like this. You're going to Vegas too? I've been where you are. What did you do on the table? Rat out my ex-boyfriend to the feds. Got a $2,500 reward from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. Took that, invested in a pound of counterfeit Jordache jeans, set up a booth at the Rose Bowl swap meet, made a killing. Took those profits, opened up a little donut shop across from the street from the police station. Can't miss, right? Turns out, cops don't like paying for donuts. Lost my ass. Had to go work cleaning toilets for strangers. What's the moral of the story? No moral. I just wanted you to know I had a colorful past. It was a hell of a story. I agree, the writers had fun with that. I always enjoy hearing about Berta's past or family or situation in general. And the pull-out bed from the couch is stuck. Alan can't get it loose. And we keep waiting for the physical comedy bit to arrive, and finally the bed half falls on him and, like, crushes him under it. Obviously, not, like, hurting him greatly, but yeah, just... first he's like trying to pull it back, and we think that it's gonna suddenly come back, and he's gonna like crash into something else in the room, and then he gets on top of it and tries to push it out, and it seems like he's gonna suddenly it's gonna give, and he's gonna go face first down and let's see, yeah, and I think the third thing is he tries to pull it out, and then finally comes out and it just lands on him. Alan turns on the TV and there's a camera watching the bed. You sick bastard. This would be terrific with a woman. And he poses himself. My ass cannot be that big. Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? Unfortunately, you are. What are you doing here? You're on the TV downstairs. I knew it. I knew that he was going to turn out to be on, that someone else could see what was on the camera. And yeah. And Charlie didn't go to Vegas. He went to a clinic. So Kendra really is a nurse, not a hooker dressed as a nurse. Excuse me. There is one thing. No, you can't see them. Then I'm good. She's still got this big, sweet smile on her face. And Alan's wearing Charlie's clothes. And they fit incredibly well, almost as if the costume department bought them for him, since he and Sheen do not have the same build. And Judith and Jake mock Alan for wearing Charlie's clothes. And it's like, yeah, I think, why are you wearing that? Why not? Because you look like an idiot. Get help. And Alan goes to a bar and buys drinks for everyone. Well, domestic brands only. And Alan gets depressed in the middle of trying to pick up the girl, talking about Charlie's life, forgetting he's pretending to be him. And he tips $3, one for the wages. Want to get out of here? Where did that come from? I thought we were getting along. No, I mean together. And Evelyn is at the same place as Charlie. When this wears off, I will have the face of a 12-year-old girl. Yeah, but from the neck down, you'll still be an Egyptian mummy. I thought that he'd respond, what, with her face burned off, or maybe, what poor kid did you take it from, or something like that. And, Evelyn wishes him good luck. And said, why? No reason. That 60 Minutes report on Dr. Jimin was entirely one-sided. Much like that poor girl's vagina. Schenkman, sorry. The voice typing got wrong, not Shipman. Alan on the piano and singing is hilarious. I only have one question. How long are you going to pretend to be Charlie Harper? So she asked him to play just to see what he would do. How did you know I'm not Charlie? I've been with Charlie. I've been at this house. My name is Derek. Brick House. Derek Brickhouse. Yeah, try again. I think role-playing is kind of a turn-on. That's why I came back with you. It makes some guys nervous. Your brother hated it. Well, I'm not my brother, as you so abruptly pointed out. And Grisham role-plays as a Nazi dominatrix. Not a deal-breaker. And Charlie pretends he's in Leave It to Beaver when he comes back. And Alan has a Hitler mustache with indelible marker. It'll be gone in 3 weeks. Does she still have her own mustache? You know, down the Russian front. Charlie, according to Wikipedia, of the estimated 70 million deaths attributed to World War II, over 30 million, the majority of them civilian, occurred on the Eastern Front. And this reduces that to a joke about a woman's pubic hair. And I love it. I'm sorry, that's so funny. Down at the Russian front. And Charlie pretends the eyes are because of a bar fight, and Alan starts out like, that's very, you're courageous. Charlie, if you're going to go with that story, you might want to ask Mom to stop telling everyone you had your eyes done. And, Alan gets like a spoon to, use as a mirror. It's not actually a bad look. Shame one guy had to ruin for everybody. They went there. Shankman has been mentioned before, but I think this might be the first time he's been mentioned as someone who can really screw up his surgery. Although I think some of the work he did on Evelyn before was at least temporarily really, really bad. And I think it's the first time we've seen him. Yeah, he was the one who did her lips, whereas, and Burr's like, what'd you do, fillet a beehive? Twanging your magic clanger. Charlie has been dating a woman, Michelle Lisvancy, who is 4 years older than he is and has trouble adjusting. Matters get even more complicated when he meets Michelle's 20-year-old bisexual amateur porn star daughter and fears his womanizing nature will get the better of him. Meanwhile, Alan learns that Jake won't be here this weekend and decides to spend a little me time, which consists of masturbating in his room, on the sofa, and in the car. He eventually gets arrested when he does in the movie theater, and Charlie neglects to bail him out and instead has sex with Michelle. And the title quotation is from Charlie talking about Alan's masturbating on the couch. See, this is not the oldest woman that Charlie has been with. He was with Norma to get the piano, and he was with there was that other, middle-aged woman, basically, where it ended up that, like, when Charlie met her son and the son's fiance, the fiance had been with Charlie and ended up breaking off the engagement to go be with Charlie. And not the oldest, but it's the most committed relationship he's had with someone older than himself, as far as we've seen on the show. Probably has a party to go to, or a hangover. Remember when you wanted to be around him? Remember when we wanted to be around him? That's my son you're talking about. Point taken. Alan describes so many romantic comedies and their tropes in that monologue. Almost age appropriate. The hideous growth on your foot is you. And Charlie catches Alan naked with porn on the laptop. I get it, a little me time. Wasn't little until you came in. Try MalibuPuddingGirls.com. Trust me. Do you mean your favorite show set in high school? So you were in high school in the 70s. Were you like really, really smart and skipped a bunch of grades? She's 47, he is not comfortable with that. This is normally something I say on a first date, but my left ass cheek is throbbing. And, Charlie catches Alan masturbating on the couch, and he's like, I'm gonna burn that couch. If you're gonna do that, you might want to burn the deck chair too. Let's see. Yeah, it's like, I thought you said she was 35 years old. 35 years old. I thought she was. Apparently dermatologists are really good are really good at taking care of their skin. 47 is just a number. A big number. A scary number. And, Charlie lies to his face about his age. Why do you do that? I'm your brother. I know exactly how old you are. Do you know what I would give to have a girl my age who shared my interests? And Charlie was like, you found her. You do get me, don't you? For all intents and purposes, we're 35, and my daughter was. That's my daughter. For all intents and purposes, she's 8. Wow. And Charlie realizes that Michelle's daughter is bisexual and 20 years old and has group sex and is comfortable with it. And Charlie's here in the room. No, it's fine. Pretend I'm not here, so that he can hear more juicy details. A webcam in your bathroom connected to a PayPal account is not a job. Your daughter's at that time of her life when she's going to make her own choices. Doesn't matter if they're right or wrong, either way she learns. I want to protect her. You can't protect her. All you can do is love her and be there for her no matter what. And Charlie gets horny because a supposed 35-year-old woman is hugging a 20-year-old. The fact that they're mother and daughter doesn't bother him, even though he does know it should, at least. Let's try ShaunaShower.com. And my first guess was that Charlie had seen her page, but, we realized from later that, he knows of similar web pages. That's, yeah. And now Alan was doing it in his car. And, Charlie, before entering the TV room where Alan is it safe? And Charlie wants to know if Alan has masturbated on the TV couch. And, so you're constantly masturbating because of a 36-year-old boner, sort of 36-hour boner pill? Because they were going to go out of, they were going to get, what's it called? The use by date or whatever. Excuse me. They were going to pass that. And just because you're cheap and horny, excuse me, not just a daughter, Alan, a 20-year-old daughter, a gorgeous daughter, a bisexual daughter. Summing up, a 20-year-old gorgeous bisexual daughter. What could I do? I got the hell out of there. Why? What do you mean, why? You know me. If I continue a relationship with Michelle, at some point I'm going to try to nail her daughter. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but as sure as your speedometer could use a handy wipe, it will happen. Wow. And Alan goes into the car to masturbate again. Actually, not a bad idea. I guess he hadn't seen her site then. Oh, geez, Zippy, what are you doing with the pudding? And Charlie realizes he definitely doesn't have a chance with Michelle's daughter because she, she once tried to be with an older guy, and what was it she said? He was almost 35 and he needed to take a nap. Or was it 40? Something. And he needed to take a nap, after the first time we had sex. And she's like, that was disgusting. It was horrible. So, yeah, realizing that, Charlie goes back and gets with Michelle again. And Alan was caught masturbating in a movie theater. What do you want, Alan? Arrested for what? Oh, Alan, most of the movie. You're right, it doesn't matter. Okay, I'm on my way. And he's going to have sex with Michelle first. If he's going at all. I mean, at some point he's going to need a nap. Alan is introduced in a scene of this episode 6 times, and while introduction 4 is not him masturbating, though Charlie suspects he might be, the other 5 are him masturbating. The first 3 Charlie catches him, 5th time it's Berta, and 6th time it's someone in the movie theater, who then alerts an usher. Excuse me. The crazy bitch Gazette. When Charlie's new girlfriend, Michelle, as he finds out about Rose, she is freaked out about his stalker. She then asks Charlie if he loves Rose when When they both realize he does, she gently but firmly ends their relationship. Rose then tells Charlie she's marrying someone named Manfred Quinn. Charlie doesn't believe her, so he and Alan drive to the church where the wedding is supposed to take place. As they look through the window, they find Rose getting married, and Charlie is left to lament his lost love. However, after they leave, it is revealed that everyone in the church, except for Rose and the priest, are mannequins. And the title quotation is from Charlie, suggesting the fictional newspaper where Rose's wedding announcement would appear. And, Charlie's listing things he expects to kill him. Struck by lightning and heart attack by sex. Guess which I'm rooting for. And, speaking of things that I expect to kill me, before she kills me, she likes to torture me. Mom, I don't want to keep you away from whatever poor schmuck you're here to meet. And then Alan runs in. How about that? The poorest schmuck I know. Don't get the wrong idea. Not every woman Charlie dates is a stripper. I can't imagine you stripping. I mean, I can imagine. That's not any better, Alan. Charlie, at least a leech doesn't miss his mother's birthday. At least when a lush wakes up, he can buy him a gift with his money. He can, but he doesn't. And let's see. Yeah, and let's not start with appreciation. Did I ever get a thank you for bearing you and raising you all by myself? Thank you, Mommy. Give it a rest. I'll write you a check. Thank you, Mommy. Do you have children, Michelle? I have a daughter. Isn't that nice? Has she ripped her heart out yet? Not quite. Well, give her time. Children are God's way of punishing us for having sex. Evelyn, no. Only heterosexual sex. So, Michelle, you've met my mom and my brother. Are you breaking up with me now, or prefer to wait till after lunch? I'll wait. I already ordered the souffle, and I understand it's very good here. Oh, she's attractive, successful, and funny. So tell me, dear, why are you settling? And, Jake calls into Charlie's, bedroom and is like, oh, are you back with Chelsea? No. Mia? No. That prostitute you met in the church, what was her name? Betsy? He knew if he kept guessing who was in bed with Charlie, he would eventually get the car keys. My nephew. Everyone thinks he's a moron, but I'm starting to think he's an evil genius. My favorite kind of Jake. And, Charlie talks about how, Alan is crying. He wakes up in the middle of the night and then he starts crying. It's like the ocean. I don't even hear it anymore. And Berta comes in with the liquor and is the liquor really infrequent? Huh? Yeah, sure, why not? Last time this one was on the beach, it was because he fell off the deck. It wasn't his fault. He was drunk. Little window into old Charlie, huh? More like a garage door. And, Charlie lists all the reasons she might break up. So why are you still here? And, Michelle's like, forgiveness is important. I forgive you. And Rose is going to completely kill Michelle's desire to be with Charlie. I believe this is this is the first time she's in this season, isn't it? And just absolutely great entrance for her. It's just this thing about, they've just been talking about, I can accept that you have, Michelle has met all these people from Charlie's life, and she's like, I can accept that. And then Rose makes an entrance. They do a really, really good job on the show of Rose making an entrance when it's like really, you've got this one where, Michelle, you've got the one where Charlie has been hallucinating all his ex-girlfriends girlfriends, and so when he sees her on the deck, he thinks that she's a hallucination. They've got the one where Charlie keeps seeing her in wigs and, you know, can't explain why she would be back from London. Let's see. And the one where he's, you know, he's really, really sick, and he wakes up and he sees her, and again, it's like, is he hallucinating her? And it turns out that she paid off the girl to get Charlie sick. Excuse me, I'm just gonna make sure to note this, to put this in the review as well. Rose entrance into apps. Let's see. Gold. Now, you know, and Michelle is like to Rose, how do you know my name? Why don't you have a license plate number? The rest is cake. Does the stalker babysit his nephew? Does the stalker sleep with his brother? Does the stalker's dad sleep with his mother, who you met at lunch the other day? Have you been following me? Not you. Again, it's this blissful, like she's not like, I'm sorry, that's really extreme behavior, and I'm sorry, I won't do it again. No, she's just like, yes, I've been stalking, but not you, not intentionally. And, you know, Michelle leaves and Rose is like, nice meeting you. Well, I'm sure the feeling's mutual. And, you know, Michelle is listing all the problems to Charlie and says, I'm not done. I didn't come over to, you know, to ruin your date. Then why? Why'd you come over? To tell you I'm getting married. I'm not marrying you, Rose. I mean, that's a pretty good guess. That's a pretty good guess. And he's like, you know, I didn't want you to hear it from someone else. Where else would I hear it? The side page of the Crazy Bitch Gazette? Let's see. And really, I mean, yeah, I guess possibly in that, yeah, never mind. I was gonna say, you know, possibly in that magazine she's always reading about, not lemurs. What was it that she had? The 5 pets all named Charlie. Yeah, I don't know if I don't remember. She was always reading a magazine about that, but why would that have marriage kind of about people? Yeah, never mind. And, you know, Rose is at you know, Charlie's front door, and she's like sheepishly and apologetic. I'm not sure how to get home from this side of the house. Wow. Which, I mean, we've seen her, you know, leave through that door before, but it's possible that those times she wasn't going directly home, so. Which, you know, in this particular case, you know, if she really did have someone at home that she's going to marry, she probably wants to get directly home. And, you know, Charlie's explaining why he's had fake obituaries printed several times. Gambling debts, angry husband, sometimes just to get a little me time. And, you know, Rose has a sixth sense about when, you know, I'm with another woman. It's not a sixth sense. She follows you around, follows your every move. For all we know, she has the house bugged and is listening in right now. And then they both start acting as though she really might be listening in. Because she really might be listening in. And now Alan wants to buy a present and wants to hear if Charlie wants to go half-seas. And, you know, Charlie shows up at Michelle's door with flowers. Surprise! Not really, you called like 11 times. She's taking that really well. And, let's see. Yeah, and Charlie's he's scared of Berta and Rose who are in his life, and well he loves Berta, and maybe he also loves Rose, and then it's like you're scared of your mother. Well, yeah, but I don't love her. And Charlie realizes she's right. He still has feelings for Rose. And Charlie takes Alan to the church to prove there's no wedding. And Alan suggests a dramatic The Graduate style rushing in to stop the wedding. And it turns out Rose and the priest, who Rose pays and knows by first name, were the only real people there. Everyone else is a mannequin. And Rose even throws the bouquet, and it, well, lands on a female mannequin. The paper did say he was an important figure in fashion. It was just more literal than we expected. And Alan's like, Mrs. Manny Quinn. And they were standing in front of a mannequin truck. If Charlie had actually done, had actually gone in, he would have caught her and would know that it wasn't true. But then, Rose's attempts to arrange the relationship with Charlie that she wants to have with him usually do end up going wrong. This was the exception, like when he really believed she wasn't back from London. Most of the time, when for example, when she drugs him repeatedly, that ends up not going well. And just in general, Let's see. Springtime on a Stick. Excuse me. After Charlie ruins Jake's date, Jake vows revenge when Evelyn's date cancels on her birthday. Jake sees his opportunity to get back at Charlie. He suggests to Alan that they should have a birthday party for Evelyn at Charlie's house. Later that day, Evelyn asks to go to a pharmacist so she can get some birth control pills. She meets Russell, Charlie's pharmacist, and Charlie and Alan decide to set the two up. However, the plan backfires when Russell shows up to dinner with a 30-year-old woman who ends up having sex with Evelyn. And the title quotation is from Russell describing a drug-laced popsicle. Jake actually still thinks he can impress girls talking about his actual interests. Zipper Uncle Charlie. Oh, good catch. So, Megan, what's your deal? Trying to teach your parents a lesson? Jake's my homeroom. Yeah, I was pretty sure you didn't meet him in math honors class. And, Charlie ruins his date, and then Jake's like, thanks a lot. You're welcome. I'm not signing anything until I see a lawyer. Come back with a do not resuscitate form, and we'll talk. And, Charlie talking about who's paying for Mom's birthday present. 50-50? Okay, 100-0, but I will pay you back. I assume you don't want to give her her present and wish her happy birthday. And I assume you're never going to pay me back. We're a well-oiled machine. And Evelyn still doesn't want to let Alan in. I sure hope she keeps me in the will. I can hear you, Jake. Love you, Grandma. It stands for Evelyn. Uncle Charlie said the E was for evil. And Jake uses the word puerile wrong because his, the homeroom girl, Megan, said of his interest, that's puerile. So he gets that it's something bad, but he doesn't, What's wrong with him? Nothing organic, we've checked. So is that a yay or an A on the cake? And, Alan talking about Evelyn being depressed. Don't worry, she doesn't commit suicide, she inspires it. And, Charlie's, the door opens and Alan comes in, and Charlie doesn't yet know that Evelyn is with him. How was your time in hell? So good, he brought a little back with him. And, Evelyn's about, she's gonna take a drink. If you're not committed to alcohol, there's a whole big ocean out there. And, Alan's like, payback. Yeah, Jake gets on, what's it called? FaceTime, whatever, And he's like, payback is a bitch. And I was like, what does he mean? He misspoke. He meant the bitch is payback. I like to think of the cup as half full, but the cup belongs to your brother, and what it's half full of is tears. Evelyn, you know that's not true. It's completely full of tears. Very smart, Alan. Bite the syphilitic hand that feeds you. I keep the vodka in the bleach bottle. Wow. I was alone with her for 2 years before you were born. You owe me. And they have to drive Evelyn to buy olives for the martini. And, you know, there's the, yeah, and I think she said, you know, stop at the pharmacy. Isn't anyone going to ask why we're stopping at the pharmacy? Don't ask if you don't care. And, you know, she thinks that Russell is cute, so she's like, you know, she asks for birth control pills, and, you know, I was like, why did she ask for birth control pills? I don't know. Maybe she didn't want to lead with a dry hoo-ha. It could just be Mr. Popsicle talking. They're both big fans of Class A narcotics. Excuse me. And yeah, you know, does Russell have any children? None that he admits to. Just like Mom. Well, just bring whatever I want. I want her. I'm an actress, but you know how it is. Once you turn 30, parts dry up. You think your parts are drying up now. Wait till you turn 50. I let him climb on top of me a couple of times a month, and he pays my rent. 4 glorious months and counting. Wow. When you came in the store, I was higher than Mel Gibson on Passover. What's so hard to believe? She's an out-of-work actress, and I have money and drugs. So bad. I understand. She's veal and I'm jerky. Good, so you get it. And no one wants to go talk to Evelyn, so Jill goes. I can't believe I'm hitting that. I can't believe I'm not hitting you. Rich celebrities will spend $50,000 a month to go someplace nice where they won't do drugs. Imagine how much they would spend to go to a snazzy place on the beach to do them. And that's not rehab, but prehab. And you know, and I think Alan's like asks if that's legal or something. What are you, a cop? I'm really glad they made Russell's catchphrase, "What are you, a cop?" That's really, you know, when he first says it, you're not sure if that's going to be a thing, but yeah. And none of them want to go see if Evelyn's okay, and Russell is hearing a phone ringing because of the drugs, and Evelyn and Jill got together. It's not that I can't hear you, it's that I'm busy talking to Jim Morrison. I don't want to spook you, but I took a handful of Viagra in anticipation of a different kind of evening. And again, you know, they don't even say 1, 2, 3, they just immediately go 3 and get up and walk away. What are you looking at? Get revenge, Jake. That is a lot of Charlie hoping Evelyn dies joke in a short space of time. Color me impressed. I mean, let's briefly go over. Actually, yeah, Alan was the one who says that she doesn't commit suicide; she inspires it in others. But Charlie says, you know, if you're, you know, you need something to drink. If you're not sold on alcohol, you know, go fill your lungs with ocean. And let's see, yeah, you know, vodka is kept in the bleach bottle. And was there maybe one more? Yeah, I think that might be it. But yeah. A good time in Central Africa. Excuse me. Berta takes off work for a few days to attend her family reunion and lines up a replacement, Esmeralda. Excuse me. Gonna need to do. When Esmeralda turns out to be a much better worker than Berta, Charlie and Alan don't want to let Esmeralda go. Meanwhile, Lindsay decides she doesn't want to get back together with her ex-husband Chris and hooks up with Alan again. Then Alan fears an angry Chris stalking, threatening, and planning to kill him. And the title quotation is Charlie explaining that it's useful to know how to say I love you in several different languages if you ever want to have a good time in Central Africa. I love Charlie commenting on the shake weight. And Berta has to explain it slowly. I arranged to have a friend fill in for me. Her name is Esmeralda. I have given her detailed instructions about how you like things around here. Did you tell her to roll her over on my stomach so I don't choke on my own vomit? That's number 1 on the list. Is she hot? She was in the 70s. And, Charlie's like, yeah, it's probably better that way. Yeah, it's tough enough that you and I have sexual tension. Oh, by the way, you promised me vacation pay. And even after all of that, he still says, see you tomorrow. And Berta didn't take all of Charlie's money so that Jake can also get some from him. And Alan's hoping to get back together with Lindsay. If I was really a good brother, I'd stage an intervention. And Charlie doesn't realize that's Esmeralda. And Esmeralda only speaks Spanish. Man, did I go to Tijuana last night? And, Charlie's wondering if he married Esmeralda. I guess if the answer was yes, she wouldn't be polishing the piano. What did I do last night? Somehow I spent almost all my money. In what universe is dating you not going backwards? I know, this guy must be some kind of mess. It's because, because Lindsay felt that going back to Chris would be going backwards. And Alan speaks fluent Spanish. And I can't say that, but yeah, Alan says in Spanish, my brother is a drunken bum who is most likely already urinate in his trousers. I know, Berta has already warned me. Perhaps I should put plastic sheets on the bed. And they both laugh at Charlie. And, Charlie calls for him, and Alan's like, please, God, don't let it be a dead girl. I mean, that must have, he's joked about that before. He's, when that girl was unconscious on Charlie's bed, and Chelsea was coming home, he was like, an unconscious girl, a dead girl is a crisis. An unconscious girl is just Friday night. Tomato tamale. That's not a swan. That's my towel. Had me fooled at first. Tried to kill it. And the grill is like, when did you get a new grill? And it's just that Esmeralda cleaned it, and it looks like a brand new one. Sorry, the boss first. What does that mean? Screw you? Basically. And, Alan's like, Chris, how did you get my address? Not important. And, here, have this picture to see how happy Lindsay made me so that you can be that. Yeah, so you can be that happy. Okay, I'm not quite sure if all that is logical, but okay. And the Chris does like a at Alan. He's okay back, and Chris is like, it's too late, Alan. You're already dead. And close the door. Well, that was a bit disturbing. And Alan got Lindsay all the way down to this coffee shop or something. If you drag me down here to break up with me, I will murder you. Speaking of murder, and Lindsay thinks it's a nude photo that Chris gave him. His bark is worse than his bite. So you're saying he does bite? And turns out that Chris is actually sitting there in the coffee shop, so he must be stalking them. And, Alan is like, pretending to be a badass or something. And, Chris gets out of the seat, and immediately Alan, like, takes cover and calls for the police. And again, when his coffee's ready and the guy calls out his name. Came home early. Turns out I don't like my family. And Charlie and Alan are both unhappy that Berta's back. How's that a bigger problem than me having to make my own breakfast? I think he's talking about that Alan just said he's worried that Chris is going to kill him. And it's like, but I have to make my own breakfast. Let's see. Yeah, and there's something, I forget the exact, but it's something like Charlie says, you know, don't think it's redundant to say crazy ex-husband. All ex-husbands are crazy. I'm an ex-husband. There you go. And, like, you know, throwing a rock at, you know, who, you know, it must be Chris. Who else would throw a rock at me? Good point. I'm here and Mom's out of town. And, you know, both phones call and Al says, you know, you're not scaring me. And then the doorbell, ah! Berta doesn't need to know. How are you going to keep Berta from knowing that Esmeralda's here? I'll just unswan and unpoint everything before she gets here. It's a shame the language is French. And Charlie's imagined smothering Alan with a pillow at night. And Charlie choosing housekeeper. It's you, Berta. It's always been you. It's okay. He'll be dead soon anyway. Have you seen the color of his urine? And they laugh. And now he speaks Italian to her. And, you know, Charlie opens the door and Chris, oh, hi, Chris. Pillows on the couch. Alan's in his room. Esmeralda! And again, you know, I think the show has kind of spoiled me on the continuity, because for the rest of this, again, maybe he was supposed to be in the last 8 episodes of the seasons that they didn't make, but yeah, Chris never shows up again in the rest of the season. I get how that's like, you know, for a, you know, it's sitcom, so the ending resets everything. But, ow, don't stop. When Courtney, last seen going to prison in Fish in a Drawer, returns, Charlie gets back together with her. However, she takes advantage of him, making him go on limitless spending sprees for her and injuring him during sex. Eventually, Charlie realizes she's just using him and they break up. But later, after talking with Alan on the deck, Charlie decides to chase after her and get her back, crashing through the glass back door in the process. The episode ends with Courtney visiting Charlie in the hospital and Charlie shallowly declaring his love for her again. Untitled quotations from Charlie covered in lacerations after crashing through a glass door, being kissed by Courtney. I may have also put this in the notes below, but just so I make sure I don't forget. It's not the first time that one of the brothers, actually, yeah, even specifically Charlie, like walks directly into the glass door from outside on the deck but it's the first time that it's broken, and then, excuse me, you know, all the lacerations, again, you know, nice escalation. You know, it happened when, was it Mia, or I think, yeah, when Mia, you know, Charlie thought that he and Mia were no longer together or something like that, and so he was going to have sex with, I guess that's Candy, yeah, I believe so, Candy. And so he, let's see, yeah, you know, when he hears that Mia is at the door, he walks directly into the glass door, and Candy laughs and says, do it again. You know, given that Candy and Kimber are played by the same actress, could they be twins? I mean, Candy says that she doesn't have any brothers or sisters, but she says a lot of things that turn out not to be yeah. I look forward to this all year, giving you people the bird. Oh, excuse me. Just gotta note that there is... I'm trying to keep a list of every season that has a holiday special episode. A very special episode. And, well, I forgot that that was something I was doing, so I haven't been noting for the last several, so. But I just realized, I think earlier today, that I do, so yeah. And, you know, Charlie's speaking well of families with James. Is he dying? Probably just drunk. I love their suggestions for why family is so important. Courtney, I thought you were in prison. I was. Now I'm out. Want to go to Vegas? I really love Charlie and Courtney together. The actors and writers are just as good at it here as they were the last time we saw them. And yeah, in the next, I think she's in 2 more episodes. They do really, really great on it. So you don't care about anything else as long as you get to indulge in your depraved appetites? Still waiting for a point, Alan. I know, they've been going at it all afternoon. A couple of times I thought somebody was going to die. I didn't know human beings could make those sounds. Alan tries so hard to convince Jake there's more to relationships than sex. And, you know, Charlie's wearing the, you know, first he comes back from Vegas and he says, I made a special shirt for you. And, you know, he holds, yeah, and he shows it and says, get out of my house. And it's like, I guess it makes more, it only makes sense if I'm the one wearing it. And, you know, he's wearing it and Bert's like, nice shirt. It's not too subtle, is it? And Charlie's arm is asleep. Scratch your back? Trying to be discreet here, Alan. We all appreciate it. Excuse me. Classic case of JJ fever. Let's see. Yeah, now Alan's telling them there's a problem with Charlie. You have been sponging off him for 8 years. You've got to expect a little abuse. You used to beg me to move in here with Jake. That was when Jake was cute and I still had a little bit of hope left for you. Please, Mr. Pepper was my father. Just call me the guy banging your mother. I'm gonna stick with Mr. Pepper. Let's see. Yeah, and you know, the Courtney greets James, the big black guy she apparently lives with, and she tells Alan, he's my brother. He was adopted. Yeah, I remain skeptical. Hey, people have a hard time believing you're my brother. Including me, by the way, and Mom. And Alan tries to picture in his mind how Courtney can possibly pick up a dime with her butt cheeks. And Charlie got a temporary tattoo that says, get out of my house. The tattoo is temporary, but the sentiment is forever. If this relationship goes on for much longer, it's going to run out of parts. And Courtney bought Berta's love. Go to hell. I'd meet you there, but they don't take credit cards. They don't? Let's see. I would think that credit cards specifically were an invention of the devil. Now, debit cards, that makes sense, but getting yourself into debt, anyway. I just wanted to say I'm always here for you. Never doubted that. Thank you. Wasn't a compliment. And Charlie's got the cut up face. How bad is it? You look like Jigsaw. I went through a plate glass window and you puked in my piano. How am I lucky? You could have bled to death and I could have vomited on my suede shoes. Ow, ow, don't stop. Ow, 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 don't stop. And yeah, this is where I noted this episode didn't have Chris in it, and I was wondering if he was going to reappear later, or that was only for that one episode that he was going to be stalking Alan. Let's see. Excuse me. Dead from the waist down. Alan is destitute as usual and cannot afford to get Lindsay a nice birthday gift. Tries raising money by offering massages at the mall, but blows the small amount of money he earned by buying a pearl necklace made out of mints. He considers dipping into Jake's college fund, thinking Jake has no interest in college anyway. Then Jake says he does want to go to college after seeing a porn movie featuring topless co-eds. If he doesn't take money Charlie offers him, Alan resorts to stealing a pair of earrings from Judith and has to think quickly to hide Lindsay's new earrings when the two couples show up at the same restaurant. Meanwhile, Courtney takes Jake clothes shopping with Charlie's credit card against Charlie's will. Its quotation is Alan thinking Lindsay wants to have sex with him after his money-earning efforts have left him exhausted. What's the charity for? Landmines for orphans. Well, you shouldn't have. Well, you've done a lot of things for me you shouldn't have. Alan and Lindsay just sit there so awkward while Charlie and Courtney kiss. And, you know, they're playing Scrabble and Lindsay's like, loser. That's hard. No, that's my word. Oh, well, in that case, I have to tell you, you could have used my C there to spell closer. I'll stick with loser. See, at this point, it kind of sounds like you meant loser for something more than just a Scrabble word. And let's see. Yeah, and you know, Lindsay, about all the expensive stuff that Charlie can get for Courtney, but Alan can't get for Lindsay. They're nice. They're very nice. They are what every girl dreams of, but let's face it, some dreams just have to die. I'm not settling, I'm accepting. So you're not rich and successful like Charlie, so you can't take me out in limos and shower me in diamonds. So there's no expensive restaurants or beautiful dresses. But, well, I can't take you out and I can't give you stuff. But, what do you want me to do? Sneak around and give my girlfriend presents in secret so you can feel better? Is that something you'd consider? And, you know, Charlie describes, you know, if I ever catch you about doing stuff, I give you my word, I will kick the chair. Realistically, do you actually see yourself going to college? Because if you don't, we could use that money to buy you some new clothes, plus maybe some other things. Alan wants to use Jake's college fund to buy gifts for Lindsay. Sorry, I think I might have just had a small stroke. I heard you say you won't take my money. And, you know, Alan's, you know, self-respect. A little late for that, isn't it? And Alan keeps increasing the times and lowering the prices for the neck and shoulder massage. And body shaming and homophobia. And an immigrants are taking our jobs joke. Charlie really is playing the Rocky theme when Alan comes home. And Alan won't accept that the pearls aren't real. Here's the trick. If you rub them against your teeth, if they're soft, they're not pearls. If they're rough, they are real. Rough. And oddly minty. And yeah, they do turn out to be mints. Yeah. Should I be worried? You mean that he won't go through with it? He'll be fine. He's just having money problems. Okay, but fair warning, he offs himself, I ain't cleaning it up. This is kind of a lot of jokes about Alan committing suicide in a pretty brief amount of screen time. You can really tell that they are far into the show. You know, you're not going to mistake this for like a season 1 episode. They're considerably fewer. Yeah, I even noted they would not have done this in season 1. And Courtney is happy to let Jake drive Charlie's car. Wonderful. I just got outsmarted by Mr. Potato Head. Yeah, it's quite like the Let's see. You know, because basically Courtney thinks that she can spend Charlie's money just at no, yeah, it doesn't, she doesn't think that there should be any limit to how she spends Charlie's money, and he doesn't realize that that includes Jake, because Charlie doesn't want to give Jake money directly, and if he had, he would have gotten off way easier, because instead Jake has Courtney pay for all of this, and she is perfectly happy to spend as much as, yeah. Okay, we both know you're going to tell me, so just tell me. Oh no, that was just the prologue. Oh god. And yeah, the thing with, you're right, Alan, that was a very bad thing. You stole diamonds from your ex-wife? Kudos. And Courtney spent Charlie's money buying Jake expensive clothes. And then he got a parking ticket. And we know it's Jake's fault because he's the one who parked the car. And there's a chance that the ticket is because they parked in the same place for too long, which wouldn't have been a problem if they weren't shopping for two people. If Jake was only driving Courtney. And yeah, Charlie, about the difference between Courtney and Jake. You're having sex with me and he's just screwing me. And Jake laughs maniacally off screen. And you know, Lindsay's like, where did you get those diamond earrings from me? I stole them. And she just thinks he's joking. Excuse me. And, you know, Herb and Judith show up at the restaurant. Excuse me. Where Alan and Lindsay are, and you know, Herb's like, it's our weekly in lieu of sex dinner. Oopsie. And Alan tries desperately to hide the diamonds from Judith. You know, standing between Judith and Lindsay and like letting her hair down. She's like, I think you're so sexy with your hair down. And Herb's like, I agree. And Alan confronts Judith about not spending money on Jake for clothes, and she actually leaves not having recognized the earrings, and Herb compliments Lindsay on the earrings, which, I mean, either she really never does wear them, or just, yeah, it's in general, it's funny that he's like, you know, and he's not even like, he doesn't demand Alan apologize to his wife for, you know, yeah, yeah. I was kind of expecting that maybe Lindsay would be angry with Alan over his outburst at Judith, but clearly she is taken aback, and the episode is almost over. So. And, you know, it's like, so did you put the jewels back? And he's like, it was much easier the second time, and he's got a bunch more. Oh, sorry. Turns out it was much easier the second time. There you go. Chocolate Diddlers or my puppy's dead. Which isn't an exact quote, but yeah. Charlie and Courtney have grown tired of having sex with each other and decide to break up. For the next few days, Charlie's behavior becomes increasingly erratic. From writing a depressing song for New Kids cereal to collapsing in bed with Alan and Lindsay after crashing Jake and Eldridge's party at Judith's house. Charlie decides it's time to revisit his psychiatrist, Dr. Freeman, to Lynch to get the help he needs. In his words, renew his prescriptions. Later on, he and Alan watch Glee together, and the title quotation is Charlie and Alan describing the dark overtone Charlie took for his Chocolate Diddlers jingle. Let's see. And, you know, Charlie's talking about how beautiful and perfect Courtney looks. So why don't I want to have sex with you anymore? I'm sorry. No, it's okay. I don't want to have sex with you either. They both fantasized about how the other would die and if they could get away with it. Fantasizing about someone else doesn't mean it's over. I pretended you were the big blue chick from Avatar. We're over. See, what I want to know is... What I don't want to know is... Does Charlie imagine himself as big and blue as well? Or does he imagine that she's that much bigger than him. I mean, I understand both. And, Charlie about Courtney. That's okay. I just got Avatar on DVD. It never occurs to Charlie or Courtney that they could have a meaningful relationship together, that they could have anything together other than sex and money. Me, I like to start my day with a cup of coffee. Instant energy, and it helps me poop. And they watch girl-on-girl porn and talk about breakfast. For every gorgeous girl out there, there's a guy that's tired of banging her. And Charlie hears about Jake having a party and worried that he forgot his birthday. But for the record, his birthday was 6 months ago, and you did forget it. And, Alan's trying to watch girl on girl no masturbating in the kitchen. Well, I like the lyric. It's kind of upbeat, celebratory. If I had a note, it would be the music. Well, it doesn't say yummy breakfast treat so much as it says my puppy's dead. C is for chocolate, D is for diabetes. Do your kids a favor and buy a box of Wheaties. Well, that's a good day's work. And Charlie just can't stop admitting to potential one-night stands how bad things are, instead of just picking them up. And he's done this at least once before. Is it the third time maybe? And he orders 2 drinks, and both are for him. And the girl keeps listening to Charlie, even asking questions, clearly actively listening, not just tolerating his presence. She must just be fascinated with his debauchery. I actually have to thank you. I came in here tonight because I was angry at my pig of a boyfriend, but after listening to you, I realized I was being too hard on him. There's something below pig. And Charlie moves over 1 meter to talk to another girl. So, how's your night? In what universe did I not hear everything you just said? And she, nobody likes an eavesdropper. And and Eldridge knows, he brought beer to the party. He's a crazy bastard, but he's got good manners. Charlie is so drunk. You're a saint for having sex with my brother. No, really. It's like taking a bird with a busted wing and putting him in a shoebox and feeding him with an eyedropper. It's never going to fly, but you give it your best shot. Alan's the bird. Your brother needs help. He needs help. I know. And for the record, I believe I will fly again. And then later, Charlie remembers it from the drunken stupor, but he remembers Judith saying, you need help, but when he remembers Lindsay saying he needs help and Alan saying, I believe I will fly again, it's like it's like 2 cartoon birds or something. It might be from some famous thing. I don't recognize it. And, Charlie realized he woke up in Alan's bed. Did we break any biblical laws? Charlie, from my ex-wife, don't ever do that again. Don't ever do what again? Doesn't matter. I fulfilled my obligation. And Charlie, and why he's seen you shrinking. Not to talk about his problems, but renew my prescriptions. You usually only come to see me when your hair is on fire and someone's chasing you with gasoline. That actually happened once. Thank God I was able to pee on the matches. Bag, shag, and skedaddle. That's charming. If you had to guess, what would you say you're doing wrong? I don't know. I love too much. Guess again. I'm afraid of intimacy. You believe that to be true? Not really, just hear it all the time. Dr. Phil, movies, TV shows, ex-girlfriends. Let me ask you something. What do you think being truly intimate with a woman is? Not using a condom? Wow. What? I'm sorry, I didn't expect that. What I'm trying to point you to is a kind of intimacy where you feel safe enough to be completely honest with another woman, to tell her how you really feel. Oh, come on, nobody cares how you really feel. What does a guy like me feel anyway? I'll tell you, tired, hungry, horny, hungover, happy, sad, and pissed off. And sad and pissed off only come into play when because I'm hungry, horny, and hungover and tired. let's table the intimacy discussion and talk about your other relationships. What other relationships? You spoke at great lengths about your feelings towards your mother, brother, and nephew. Pissed off, sad. Sure, how about non-familiar relationships? You mean like friends? Yes. Then why didn't you just say friends? I got the diplomas, I like to use them. Okay, well, to answer your question is, I don't really have that many friends. Well, how many friends would you say you have? You're starting to get me a little pissed off now. Do you have any friends, Charlie? Come on, I'm a grown man, I have acquaintances. Do you spend time with acquaintances? For what, to talk about my feelings? I'm not one to wind down and chit-chat unless I feel like it's going to get me laid. I'm just saying it might be nice to have some relationships that aren't solely based on you trying to get someone to bed. You have no idea what I'm talking about, do you? Not a clue. Okay, now I'm pissed off and sad. Maybe you didn't have enough dinner, and meaning drinking. He referred to dinner, talking about drinking alcohol. And the brothers don't realize they're each other's friend. I like they're at a bar and like both of them say, well, you have no friends, and and Charlie says, I don't have any friends because I'm a lush or something like that. You don't have no friends because you're a social pariah. And they end up watching Glee. The tall one in the red tracksuit is really starting to freak me out. I know just enough about Glee to realize that he's talking about Jane Lynch's character, who also plays the therapist in this. Pretty sure that's who he's talking about. Let's see. Todd in the Shadows once did like a really. He said that he tried to watch Glee, and then he shows a clip of them going over what's happened previously, and I'm almost certain that in that I saw Jane Lynch in a red tracksuit. So yeah, it must be. I've otherwise never watched it. I don't have a problem with like major characters being gay on shows. It doesn't seem like something that would appeal to me. And home stretch. Skunk, dog crap, and ketchup. Alan wakes Lindsay up one night with his sleep talking while getting a drink of water. Lindsay begins talking to Charlie, and the two bond over their love of betting on sports. I guess she only says that college sports is something that should bet on. Anyway, when Alan learns of this, his paranoia kicks in, and he and Lindsay have a fight when she wants to invite Charlie to a housewarming party. Alan spies on the two, but is sprayed by a skunk in the process. Shows up embarrassing Lindsay in front of her guests. Charlie later tries to tell Lindsay to give Alan another chance. This is jeopardized by Alan spying on them again and calling them a bastard. Charlie and slut Lindsay because he thinks they're meeting as more than friends. And the style quotation is from Alan giving Lindsay an answer to a question: what is that smell? Alan talking in his sleep is very funny. Some childhood dream about you making him hit himself? What childhood? That was last week. And Lindsay helps Charlie gamble. And, Alan has a moral problem with gambling, but then, talking about porn. He doesn't have a moral problem with that. He's just cheap and he likes to cuddle. And we hear more about the porn Lindsay was in. I'm really glad they didn't drop it. I guess maybe in one of the 8 episodes they didn't film, Alan learned about the porn or something. That could have been an interesting. And Charlie and Lindsay bet in front of Alan, but they use these kind of code word. Yeah, he's like, if you were gonna send Eldridge to a college, would it be this college or that college, and would it be because of this or yeah. And Charlie and Lindsay both think that Alan knows about the porn. And Charlie and Lindsay both think that Alan knows about the porn, and then they bet in front of Alan. And Alan thinks Charlie is with Lindsay, and he can't let go of the girls that Charlie stole from him. I really like that that's, they've talked about that before on the show. We already knew that Charlie had stolen girls from him, again, several seasons ago, there was an episode where Alan just found out that, that one of the girls, left him for Charlie. And in that episode, then Alan tries to get back at Charlie by having sex with Gabrielle, the French girl, who trying to. He ends up not doing it. Charlie says kind of like necrophilia, but he still did it. And then at the end of the episode, it turns out that Charlie wanted Alan to get rid of Gabrielle for him, and he's again having sex with the girl that he stole from him, and now it ruins Alan's relationship with a committed relationship. So again, a great escalation of that now it's made him so paranoid that he can't trust the woman. And it's not the first time. He also ruined things with, I forget her name, but Jerry Ryan's character, because he couldn't stop thinking about how if Charlie had, all the things that Charlie had already done with her, that Alan was only now getting to do with her. Though I'd still like to move out soon. No, I guess that's about it. Wow, the place looks great. Even better than before I accidentally almost burned it to the ground. You're welcome. Every time Herb looks at you, he's pretending you're wet and naked. And Alan's fine with inviting Judith and Herb since it will upset Judith. And, Lindsay wants to invite Berta to the housewarming, and Alan's like, she's mean to me. Oh, honey, that's just because she doesn't like you. And when Lindsay wants to invite Charlie, Alan thinks that it's because she wants Charlie. Okay, just to clarify, you're not as upset with me now as when I burned down your house. Okay, we'll talk after you've gained some perspective. I also really I think I just passed the part where it's like, she right before she asked for her key back from him, there's he's expressing this paranoia about her wanting Charlie, and then she's like, okay, I made a mistake, and I forgive you. He really is completely clueless when it comes to women. And let's see, and then there's the thing with Alan is I think Alan threatens Charlie, if you do this, I will never speak to you again. And then Charlie wants to try to figure out what is it that if I do that to you, you'll never speak to me again. And the housewarming gift Charlie, Jake, and Berta got for Lindsay is a fire extinguisher, and it's that thing, and he's very, very funny. We thought so. You want me to do your job? Somebody has to. Might as well. Maybe she'll like me better. And Eldridge is getting high in his room, and Jake is too stupid to hide it from Berta. And then, Lindsay, let's see. Oh yeah, sorry. I'll get to that. And Alan spying on Charlie and Lindsay. Him MST3King, Charlie with a woman is always really, really fun. And there's a skunk, and it sprays Alan, and Alan uses the water hose of Herb, and Herb opens the window, and they start talking. Oh yeah, I can get you better than this. That's what I was hoping. It's not is this, I need a second opinion. Is this really weed? Is my kid on weed? Skunk, dog crap, and ketchup. Although I suppose you could be a different skunk. And Alan confronts Lindsay in front of everyone, looking ridiculous because of V8 water and ketchup to deal with the skunk smell. This is a little forced, both covering him in that stuff and then having him show up at the door. And Alan catches Charlie and Lindsay having coffee together and thinks they're together, rather than Charlie trying to talk Lindsay into giving Alan another chance. And, you bastard, you slut. So what do you say? he doesn't even care that Alan called him that, and he doesn't like try to make excuses for him to Lindsay. He's just, yeah, well, just get back to me on that. What are you gonna give him another chance? Looking for Japanese subs? A few months after her marriage, Rose bumps into Charlie at the supermarket. Old feelings are rekindled, and Charlie realizes that he loves her. After going to Rose's house and being turned away, the roles are reversed, and Charlie stalks Rose, even climbing over the balcony of her deck like she does. Rose continues to reject him, saying that she's now a married woman, must remain faithful to her husband, Manny. Eventually, Charlie persuades Rose to have an affair with him, and the two end up sleeping together. Meanwhile, Jake and Eldridge film jackass stunts, including swallowing Diet Coke and Mentos to make a human volcano, riding down the roof in a shopping cart, and attempting a propelled launch into the ocean. The teleportation is Alan seeing Charlie using his binoculars on the deck, spying from his neighbor stalker, Rose. And Charlie's agreeing that he shouldn't be married. I've never been good with husbands, or fathers, sons, brothers, surly lesbian roommates. I'm gonna be taking care of that kid till I'm 90. Please God, don't let me live that long. Wow. And the human volcano was Charlie's idea. And Charlie's spying on Rose. Don't change the subject. And Rose has a tattoo of Charlie's face on her left butt cheek. And Jake and Eldridge were too stupid to get the stunt on video. And Rose on how she dealt with the tattoo. I added glasses to it and told him it was Harry Potter. And she posed the mannequin reading the newspaper and talks to it as if it's alive. I'm glad they made that the thing that, in this episode and the next two, she keeps talking to the mannequin as if he's alive, and as if he is realizing about the. Here it's as if he's realizing. As if he's realizing about the cheating, and as if he's watching them intentionally, and she'll pose him. Yeah. I love Alan trying to yell at Jake and Eldridge. You're the one who told me to follow my dreams. I meant dreams like doctor or lawyer, not crash test dummy. I love Alan describing Look Who's Stalking, or Meet the Stalkers, or Avatar, I Love Looney, the plot, where to sell it. And Charlie climbs onto Rose's deck. Are you crazy snooping in on me like this? Pot meet kettle. And Rose sends Charlie away with an order of ice cream. Chocolate sprinkles, not the multicolored kind. I don't know why they even make those. And Rose gives advice on how to properly jump off the deck. And Jake still thinks redundant is a word. At least he's using it correctly. And Charlie's still jumping off the deck wrong. And Charlie's climbing onto the deck. Not as easy as it looks, is it? He said, in the whole world, I'm the only one who can move him. Wow. Fine, pierce me, brand me, do whatever you want. Really? Just an expression. And she looks so disappointed. You know what we have to do? You're gonna have to kill Manny. Kidding, just wanted to see how far you'd go. And Manny was in the closet and falls out when Charlie closes the door. Oh, aren't you the naughty boy who likes to watch? But yeah, this season is going for more visual, gross out bodily function jokes, as I already mentioned. Not really a fan, but again, now having watched the entire season and thinking back on earlier episodes, they didn't go that far. There's the skunk stuff, and then the jackass type stunts in this. That's more or less it. I've seen far, far worse on sitcoms that were desperate. I wouldn't even really call this desperate, just that they've gotten to a level where that's what they feel like. Yeah. I appreciate that they held off for so long. 3 hookers and a Philly cheesesteak. Now, wow, this is... Why is this particular episode's Wikipedia description so long? Someone just went about putting every single plot point into this. Okay, I'm not going to read the entire thing. Al discovers that a fellow chiropractor's business is doing extremely well, and he believes the reason is because of advertising, and gets Charlie, yeah, he 5,000 of Charlie's money, and Alan, seeing how easy it was, decided to ask his mother for money as well. And then Herb, let's see. Then Berta and even Judith. Alan begins to feel guilty until he has a conversation with the reflection in the mirror and decides he should take advantage of his good fortune, some sort of reward after years of being stepped on. Meanwhile, Charlie continues his affair with Rose. Gordon, Charlie's pizza delivery man, discovers that Rose's husband, Manny, is really a mannequin and unsuccessfully tries to tell Charlie. And the teleportation is from Charlie telling Alan what he can get for 5,000. Didn't you hear me? Can't you see me trying to hide? And Charlie compares Alan saying he'll move out to Lucy holding the football for Charlie Brown. How much is this going to cost you? No, the question is, what is it going to earn you? I'll stick with my question. I love Charlie explain what else he could get for $5,000. And Charlie's actually going to go trying to find some bells to put on so he can come to Rose with bells on. Do you want this money or not? Give her my best. Charlie has done so... Yeah, you know, Alan's telling Evelyn why he won't just borrow money from Charlie. Charlie's done so much for me, and you've never threatened to smother me in my sleep. Not since you learned to talk, anyway. And Rose continues cawing. No, I really do love you. How do I prove it to you? Vincent Van Gogh cut his ear off for the woman he loved. Think about it. Would you settle for my brother's ear? And he really did find bells. Let's see. Yeah, this video is short, even if you don't count the fact that there's a fourth of the season missing. Yeah. And, you know, Jay about what the money is really for. Video games and online porn. Jake, you're so disappointing. You're paying for online porn. You are a sucker. And Alan keeps getting people to invest in his business. And he tells Herb that Charlie and Evelyn both gave $15,000 each rather than combined. The years I've wasted actually working for a living. More Gordon, and he's still depressed and depressing. Yeah, Rose married some clown. Is he really a clown? I have to ask because it's Rose. Wow. And the thing where, you know, Gordon says, oh yeah, I remember Rose. I dated her for a while. No offense, Gordon, but I think that was just her trying to make me jealous. And Gordon's like, I don't really think so. And then he starts going, you know, she bought me the bowling shirts and the, you know, and then he realizes, okay, she really was trying to make me jealous, and he becomes depressed again. And now Rose won't return texts and cancels dates with Charlie, revenge for all the years she just had to stalk him, as well as giving him some of his own medicine, because that's how he breaks up with people once he's done with them. Excuse me. And Alan is wasting all the money that's been invested on luxury goods. Excuse me. Charlie hands Alan a full $10,000. I mean, his logic is sound, you know, and he's not drunk yet. I don't think so. He can still do math, you know. What was it that? What is he said? 20% return on investment within a week. or in a week. Yeah, that's good. Makes perfect sense that he wants to invest some more, and Berta wants to invest as well. You'll actually be doing me a favor. My bank asks a lot of questions about my alfalfa earnings, and you know, oh sure, when can I get the money? As soon as I come back from the bathroom. Boy, I hope she means it's behind the toilet. Excuse me. And Gordon comes in and sees the mannequin on the sofa and realizes mannequin means mannequin. And, Evelyn, first, Alan says, you could say this, and she does. And then he's like, you could say this. Let's not push it. And Evelyn gives Alan a full 20 grand. And, Alan's like, I don't really know if I can, if I can take more of your money for invest. Sweetheart, if you cut me out of this, I'll kill you. That's at least 3 episodes in this joke about how Evelyn or Charlie will or considered killing Alan. And she doesn't know how to spell her own son's name. It's 4 letters. Wow. And Gordon tries to get Charlie to realize that Rose married a mannequin. And, Judith is like, I can't believe you got Herb to invest. I forget. Alan's like, he told you? We love each other. And then Herb walks up, we love each other so much, she went through my checkbook. And, about the child support, isn't that supposed to go to Jake? Don't be so naive. Do you want it or not? And Alan is talked out of feeling guilty by his darker half and letting the darker half control him, and it's very satisfying. It's very cathartic to see, he walks down the stairs and is about to leave the house, and Charlie's like, where are you going? Out. Just out? Yeah. Is that a problem? I mean, seriously, what? It's not... If he doesn't want to tell Charlie, it's not any of Charlie's business. That darn priest. I at first thought that this was like Rose saying, when I just read that was going to be the title of the episode, I thought that was Rose saying that the reason that Charlie found out that Manny is a mannequin must be that even though she paid off the priest, that he still told Charlie because he felt bad or something. When Rose wants to invest in Alan's business, she visits his office and finds out about his scheming and threatens to tell everyone. Alan panics at first, but then he realizes he can tell Rose's husband about her cheating. While over at her house, he finds out that her husband, Manny Quinn, is really a mannequin, and the penny finally drops on his name. Rose offers Alan the 50 grand he needs to pay everyone back to keep her secret from Charlie. Yeah, no, emphasis, yeah. But Alan decides that his loyalty to Charlie is more important. Charlie then insults Alan about moving out after he tells Charlie it's a bad idea to marry Rose, and Alan decides to take the money, pay everyone back, and keep Rose a secret to himself, while she and Charlie take a weekend away to Paris. Charlie does meet Manny when retrieving something from Rose's closet, but thinks it's just a dummy uses for fashion design work. After Charlie grabs Rose's raincoat, the couple heads for the airport for their ill-fated trip to Paris. And the child quotation is Alan's evil side, with whom Alan is arguing in the mirror. Ill-fated trip, I guess that's a spoiler for the next season. Whatever. Let's see. I mean, it's Charlie not realizing, even for Rose, marrying a mannequin is pretty out there. I mean, she doesn't have to pose the thing. She could just say, "Oh, he's on a business trip." There's a reason to have him in the church because, she needed to look from behind as if there was someone, but. having the actual mannequin, now that she's having an affair with Charlie, you know, she should just get rid of it. It's just more trouble than it's worth. I don't know what it wouldn't be worth any trouble, really. Now, I was wondering if this episode would actually finish off these plot threads, or it'll be obvious that 8 episodes are missing. And then I added, now that I've watched the entire episode, yes, it is obvious, and I'll get more into it at the end of this section. Now, Alan goes to church because of his guilty conscience. Alan is really bad at this confession thing. I thought it was pretty funny how at first he doesn't realize that there's someone there, so he just like jokes that he's ordering food through one of the speaker box things. When was your last confession? It's never. Are you even Catholic? No, but I'm a big fan. The costumes, the music, the crackers and wine. That's the body of Christ. Good. Bingo. Well, that's your racket, isn't it? It sure is. You gotta love a God who's willing to put the hustle on old ladies. And Alan isn't happy with the deal the Catholic Church is offering him for the confession, so he's going to go to a Jewish temple instead. And, you know, Charlie describes, you know, what he wants out of a place for Rose and he to go for a weekend together, and she's like, so Disneyland? And all Rose wanted from all this was a weekend with Charlie. I mean, didn't they already, wait, or was it completely a one-night stand? Did they only have sex once, and then she started doing crazy stuff, and then he got rid of her, or, you know, then she started stalking him rather than, did they never spend a weekend together where he was conscious, because they were together for like 2 weeks when he was unconscious because of the pills for European elephants. And she high-fives Manny. Stop washing her hands like Lady Macbeth. Wow. And, you know, Jake overhears Alan talking to the mirror. He's like, oh, I wasn't talking, I was singing. I wasn't singing. Who are you, Simon Cowell? Yeah, Jake, don't be Simon Cowell. Even Simon Cowell shouldn't be Simon Cowell. You know, when I voice typed that joke earlier today, you know, right before starting the recording, I had actually forgotten that I had made that same joke about Mike Pence in the episode where Alan keeps calling Lindsay mother. And Charlie and Rose are sexting. And Rose wants in on the investment. And Alan's dark half counts the money, you know, he can see him in the TV, and he gets greedy. And Charlie wanted Alan to take his dick pic, and thought that Alan would be fine with it. And Alan has a ton of luxury goods at his pranks. So he's got 3D glasses, and he's watching, I guess it's supposed to be a 3D TV with like beach babes, and yeah. But, you know, Rose, you know, and he's on the phone with Rose, and he's like, yeah, so, well, you know, you can come over, you know, we can find you a time later, and she's like, or I could just come over now, and he's got the popcorn, which goes everywhere when he's shocked, you know. Let's see. Did you really think I was going to invest without doing my due diligence? Everybody else did. And, you know, Rose, you do not know what's going on. You're taking money from your family. Oh, I guess you do. I'm looking for a catchphrase. I quite enjoy all the attempts. Rose posed Manny looking at her in judgment. Yeah. Rose does have a better situation than Alan. And now Rose tries out a catchphrase. And Alan realizes Manny is a mannequin. Your husband's a dummy. To be fair, he wasn't the one fooled by a mannequin. And, you know, Berta needs the money back. 2 of my teenage granddaughters are pregnant. At the same time? By the same guy. Long story short, I need cash quick. Let's see if I can... And yeah, and Alan's like, well, I mean, you realize that was it, you're not gonna make a lot of money by pulling out so suddenly. Yeah, well, if Jimmy Lee had done the same, I wouldn't need the money. She's crazy. I'm the one talking to a kitchen appliance. Hey, look, I'm trapped in a toaster, and he does the mime thing. And Rose realizes too late that Charlie will catch the mannequin. Luckily for her, he's too stupid to realize it. They're 15 years old and pregnant. What's to look forward to next season of Teenage Mom? And now Alan's dark half tries not rhyming his catchphrases. And transphobia with Alan's other alter, who looks like a woman. Now, once again, a great overall season. Great finale. I mean, it definitely feels like this was not meant to be the last episode of this season, and knowing that Charlie isn't actually coming back next season, although, I mean, with him leaving and then not returning, that's a decent way to cover. I guess I withhold my answer to this until I've watched at least some of the next season. So at some point in the video of that I do for the next season, so 3 weeks from now, when I do that video, I'll try to answer. But yeah, I mean, it's better than some others, certainly. The fact that it ends with Charlie leaving, since he won't return. Yeah, that's now. Yeah, that's kind of short for a. Yeah. But I guess that covers it. I don't think I really have anything to add. I mean, yeah, just briefly, something not all related to the show. AOC recently said that, I forget exactly who she said it about, but basically she said, these people shouldn't be able to make a living when talking about, the conservatives spreading hatred. And this one, was it a Fox News? Yeah, so she was like, I have a right to exist just like you do. Well, you're the one arguing that when minorities are, attacked violently, that they shouldn't get justice and they deserve it. So yeah, I don't know if your job is, if you're taking money to encourage violence against minorities, no, I don't think you should be able to make a living. I think you should be punished for anything that it seems as though your words are inspiring. And anyone who feels encouraged or defended by that. Yeah. I think that does cover it. But yeah, I'm hoping that I'll enjoy the Ashton Kutcher episodes, since it's 4 seasons, and yeah, I don't want to end up hating something that I'm watching. But I do think, again, if not only Charlie Sheen but also John Cryer, or if the show lost Chuck Lorre and what's his name, Lee Aronson, as and the various writers and such, that would be a big problem. Then it would, but it's a show that lasted 12 seasons, and 4 of those seasons were without Charlie Sheen. So yeah, they did survive him leaving, which even back when I heard that he was leaving, I was like, the show's not going to die immediately. It'll end, but it's not going to just collapse in no time, as long as they still have John Cryer and the same comedy writers. Charlie Sheen was a really big part of the show for these 8 seasons, but he was not the only thing keeping it, Now, let's see. I mean, I'll say I don't like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but if that show had lost Will Smith, I do think that show would probably not have lasted much longer. You know, didn't they? There was at least one cast member that got replaced, and I don't think that killed the show. You know, Married with Children survived for, let's see, what was that? Was that 11 seasons total? And most of those were with Ted McGinty? I forget his name. Jefferson instead of Steve. And I do like Steve. And I enjoyed when he returned for a one-off, you know, a single episode single episode role per season. But yeah, so in 3 weeks you will find out what I think of at least the first batch of Ashton Kutcher episodes, and I think I'm gonna end it here. So I hope you enjoyed watching as I enjoyed watching and performing, and I will catch you next